Chosen one, pause for a moment and really hear this. Have you ever felt like the day is rushing past you, yet something deep inside is whispering, "Stop, be still, just lie down"? It might sound unusual, but there are moments when the most powerful thing you can do is simply rest. I know in our busy lives that feels impossible. We are always planning the next step, chasing the next goal, trying to hold everything together. But what if, right now, God Himself is inviting you to slow down? Not because you are tired, but because He wants to speak to you in the quiet. Think about it. Some of the most important messages you have ever received probably came in moments when you were not rushing. Maybe it was lying in bed on a peaceful morning, or sitting alone while the world outside kept moving. That is when clarity comes, when the heart feels lighter, and when a strange calmness fills the air. I am asking you this: if you felt that nudge today, would you listen? Would you allow yourself to pause without guilt? Imagine lying back, closing your eyes, and feeling a warmth that seems to wrap around your soul. No noise, no pressure, just a deep sense that you are exactly where you are meant to be. This is not just rest. This is preparation for something greater. And maybe, just maybe, today is the day that your stillness opens the door to what you have been waiting for. Chosen one, let us talk heart to heart for a moment. Have you ever had that strange yet undeniable feeling that you are being asked to pause? Not by people, not by your schedule, but by something greater, something divine. It is almost like life itself is whispering, "Rest now, step back, let me take over." We live in a world that celebrates constant motion, faster goals, more achievements, endless to-do lists. But God's way is different. There are moments when He sends a clear and gentle command. Stop, be still, align your heart, your mind, and your spirit with me. It is not a suggestion. It is not a casual reminder. It is a divine instruction. When this kind of command comes, it carries a certain weight in your spirit. You feel it deep inside, even if you cannot explain it to anyone else. You may be in the middle of work, a conversation, or even scrolling through your phone when suddenly, something inside you says, "Enough for now. I need you to rest." You see, divine rest is not about physical tiredness. It is about preparation. When God calls you to stillness, it is because He is about to align you with something important. Maybe it is clarity about a decision you have been struggling with. Maybe it is healing in a place you have been carrying hurt. Or maybe it is strength for an assignment you cannot even see yet. Think of it like a builder preparing the ground before laying the foundation. You cannot rush it. If the soil is not ready, the structure will not stand. In the same way, if your heart and mind are not aligned, the blessings meant for you may not take root properly. I remember a time when I was overwhelmed with work and decisions. I had deadlines, messages piling up, and a mind that felt like it was running on overdrive. Then, in the middle of my day, I felt an unusual peace come over me. It was almost like a voice within saying, "Lie down, close your eyes, just breathe." I will be honest, it felt strange to stop in the middle of everything. But the moment I did, something shifted. My thoughts cleared. My body felt lighter. And when I got up, the solution I had been stressing over for days came to me naturally, without force. That is the beauty of obeying a divine command to rest. It positions you to receive without struggle. I want you to think about this for a second. How many times have you kept pushing, only to feel more tired, more confused, and more frustrated? Now imagine what would happen if, instead of pushing, you listened to that gentle nudge from above. Imagine lying down without guilt, letting your mind quiet, and allowing your spirit to simply be present. This kind of obedience is powerful because it says to God, "I trust you more than my own efforts. I trust that you can do more in my stillness than I can do in my constant striving." And when you take that posture, you create space for miracles. Some people think rest is passive, but spiritually, it is one of the most active forms of faith. It takes courage to step away from noise. It takes humility to admit you cannot control everything. And it takes trust to allow God to lead the timing. So I ask you, if you feel that inner call today, will you listen? Will you choose to obey even if it feels unusual? Will you prepare your heart like a sacred room, ready for a guest of honor? Because when the divine command comes, it is not just about pausing your body. It is about aligning your entire being with heaven's rhythm. And in that rhythm, there is peace, clarity, and a readiness for the next beautiful chapter of your life. Have you ever noticed how some of the most powerful moments in life happen in complete silence? Think about it. The deepest conversations, the most meaningful prayers, and the clearest ideas often come when there is no rush, no noise, no pressure. There is a reason for that, and it is more than just a nice feeling. There is actually a deep science and a spiritual truth behind stillness. When you become still, something shifts inside you. Your body relaxes, your breathing slows down, and your thoughts begin to untangle themselves. In that moment, your mind is no longer reacting to every sound, message, or notification. It finally has space to focus on what truly matters. This is when the answers you have been searching for often appear, quietly, without forcing, almost like a gentle knock on the door of your heart. Think of a seed planted underground. It is hidden from sight. There is no visible movement, but inside, incredible growth is happening. Roots are forming, life is building, and strength is quietly developing. If you were to dig it up too soon, you would disrupt the process. Stillness works the same way in our lives. When we stay still, we allow our roots to grow deeper, even if no one else can see it. I remember once sitting on a quiet balcony early in the morning. The world outside was still sleeping. The air was cool, the sky just beginning to brighten. At first, my thoughts were racing with everything I needed to do. But as I sat there, listening to nothing but my own breathing, a strange calm began to settle over me. That calm was not just rest. It was like my mind was reorganizing itself, making space for clarity. Science actually supports this. When you are still, your brain shifts into a state that is more creative and more reflective. It is the same state where solutions to complex problems suddenly appear. Your nervous system relaxes, your stress levels drop, and your body starts to repair itself naturally. Even your emotions begin to balance out. Spiritually, stillness is even more powerful. It is in the quiet moments that people often feel closest to God. It is when there is no distraction that His voice becomes easier to recognize, not always as an audible sound, but as a deep knowing inside you. In stillness, you become aware of the subtle guidance that is always present but often drowned out by noise. So, how can you create this kind of stillness for yourself? Start small. Turn off your phone for a short while. Dim the lights. Create a space where you feel safe and undisturbed. You could lie down, sit by a window, or even take a slow walk in nature. The key is to give yourself permission to pause. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly allowed yourself to do nothing? Not scrolling, not planning, not worrying, just being. If it has been a while, maybe today is the day you try. Stillness is not about avoiding life. It is about preparing for it. It is the place where your inner strength gathers, where your vision becomes clear, and where your spirit refuels. In those moments, you are not losing time, you are gaining power. The science is simple, but the impact is profound. When your body rests, your mind resets, and your spirit realigns. And from that place, you can step back into life with energy, clarity, and peace that no amount of rushing could ever give you. There is something deeply beautiful about the way the body and spirit work together when given the right space to heal. Many people think restoration is a slow, distant process, but when you step into intentional rest, change can begin almost instantly. Imagine lying down after a long day, your head sinking into the pillow, your muscles releasing the weight they have been holding for weeks. Your breathing slows, your heartbeat steadies, and your body quietly starts its work. Deep inside, your cells begin repairing themselves. Your skin starts to regain its natural glow. Your muscles recover from strain, and your nervous system shifts from stress to peace. It is almost like your body is saying, "Thank you for finally giving me this chance." But the beauty of miraculous restoration is that it goes far beyond the physical. There is also an emotional reset that begins to take place. Worries that felt heavy only hours before start to feel lighter. Thoughts become clearer, and that constant tension in the background of your mind begins to fade. It is like a fog lifting, revealing the view you have been missing. Have you ever woken up from a deep, peaceful rest and felt like you were a new person? Not just more awake, but somehow lighter, brighter, and more present. That is restoration in action. And the best part is that this shift often happens quietly, without you forcing it. I remember a time when life felt overwhelmingly loud. Responsibilities, decisions, and constant movement had drained me completely. Then one evening, I gave myself permission to simply stop. I lit a small candle, lay down, and let the room be still. By the time I got up, I felt as if someone had pressed a reset button in my heart and mind. I could see solutions I had missed. I could feel joy returning. That moment was not just rest. It was a kind of miracle. Spiritually, restoration works in a similar way. When you allow yourself to be still, you create an open space for divine presence. That presence has a way of filling the parts of you that have been running on empty. You may feel warmth spread through your chest, a lightness in your spirit, or a gentle reassurance that you are exactly where you need to be. This is why moments of restoration are so personal. They cannot be shared in the same way you share a conversation or an event. They belong to you, shaped by your own needs, your own prayers, and your own connection with God. No one else can fully understand what happens in those moments. Only you can feel the depth of it. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you experienced that kind of complete renewal? Not just catching your breath, but truly feeling like a fresh version of yourself had stepped forward? If it has been a while, maybe it is time to create the space for it again. The wonderful truth is that restoration is always available. Your body knows how to heal. Your mind knows how to release. Your spirit knows how to receive. All you have to do is step back, trust the process, and allow it to happen. And when you do, the change is undeniable. You do not just return to where you were, you rise to a better, stronger, more peaceful version of yourself. That is the quiet, beautiful miracle of restoration. The world teaches you to push, to hustle, to never stop. But heaven says, rest is strength. Look at Jesus. Even he withdrew to solitary places to pray and rest. Those moments were his altar of faith. When you refuse to rest, it is like trying to walk on a broken bone without letting it heal. It only makes the damage worse. Distraction is dangerous. Stillness is survival. There is a quiet rhythm to how the spiritual world works. It is not rushed, yet it is always precise. If you have ever felt like certain moments in life were perfectly timed, as if they could not have been arranged better, you have already experienced a glimpse of these spiritual mechanics. The truth is, everything in life operates by a pattern. Just like the sun rises and sets without fail, there are seasons in the spiritual realm that are designed for growth, healing, and renewal. And one of the most important phases in that process is rest. When you choose to rest with intention, you are not stepping away from life. You are stepping into alignment with it. This is the same principle that farmers follow when they allow the land to lie fallow for a season. It is not wasted time. It is preparation for a richer harvest. In the same way, when you allow yourself stillness, you are giving your spirit a chance to be replenished for what is coming next. Think about how Jesus often withdrew to quiet places. Those moments were not escapes, they were strategic. He knew that strength does not come from constant action, but from a balanced flow between pouring out and being filled. In that stillness, he could hear the Father clearly, away from the noise and demands of the crowd. There is also a deeper, almost mechanical aspect to this. When you quiet your mind, your awareness shifts. Your spiritual senses, your intuition, your discernment, your inner clarity become sharper. You notice small nudges and gentle impressions that you might have missed in the rush of everyday life. These are often the signals that guide you toward the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing. I remember a time when I was unsure about a decision that could have changed my life. Every time I tried to think my way through it, I felt more confused. So I stopped trying to solve it and decided to simply be still. During those quiet moments, I felt an inner pull in one clear direction. It was not loud, it was not dramatic, but it was steady and it brought peace. Looking back, that choice turned out to be one of the best I have ever made. That is how spiritual mechanics work. Clarity is often born in stillness. Another important part of this process is the removal of distractions. Imagine trying to repair a delicate clock while a crowd is shouting around you. It would be almost impossible to hear the tiny clicks and see the fine movements that make it work. In the same way, the mechanics of your spiritual life need a quiet environment to function smoothly. If you are surrounded by constant noise, the adjustments that need to happen inside you may not take place as they should. So, how can you make space for these spiritual mechanics to work in your life? It can be as simple as setting aside a few moments each day for uninterrupted quiet. This is not just about sitting still. It is about allowing your heart to listen. You can light a candle, close your eyes, take slow breaths, or simply rest your gaze on something peaceful. Let me ask you, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to be unreachable for a while? Not in a way that cuts you off from life, but in a way that connects you more deeply to it. Because here is the beauty of these spiritual mechanics. When you give them space, they work faithfully in the background, restoring balance, recharging your energy, and realigning you with your purpose. And when you finally step forward again, you will feel more certain, more focused, and more ready than ever. There are moments in life when your own strength feels enough to keep moving forward. But then there are seasons when you can sense something greater, an unseen presence, that carries you further than you thought you could go. That is what I like to call supernatural support. It is not just about miracles or sudden breakthroughs. Sometimes it is more subtle. It might be the right person showing up at the exact time you needed them, a solution appearing out of nowhere, or an inner strength you cannot quite explain. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought, I could not have planned this better myself? That is often how this works. I remember a friend who was going through a very uncertain time. She had just lost her job, and everything seemed unclear. She did not know how the next month would look, yet opportunities started opening up without her chasing them. One phone call led to a meeting, that meeting led to a project, and within weeks she was in a role that suited her perfectly. She told me later, it felt like the path was being cleared in front of me. That is the essence of supernatural support. It makes the road smoother even when you cannot see the entire map. The beauty of this kind of help is that it is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is as simple as peace in the middle of uncertainty. That inner calm is not something you can fake. It is a sign that something greater is holding you steady. It is like being in the middle of a storm but feeling anchored, knowing you will not be swept away. One of the keys to experiencing supernatural support is trust. When you trust that you are not walking this journey alone, you stop trying to control every detail. You begin to notice the ways in which guidance and provision show up. This does not mean you stop taking action. It means you take action with the confidence that you are not relying only on yourself. Have you ever had that experience where you were almost about to give up, and then suddenly something shifted? A word of encouragement from someone who barely knew your situation. A financial blessing that arrived just in time. Or even a clear thought that helped you make the right decision. These are not random coincidences. They are pieces of a bigger plan at work in your favor. When you lean into this kind of support, you walk differently. You face challenges with a quiet assurance because you know you are backed by something much larger than your own abilities. It is not arrogance, it is certainty born out of trust. So the next time you feel like the weight of life is too much, pause for a moment. Look around. Listen. Ask yourself, where might the support already be showing up in ways I have not noticed yet? Often, it is already there, waiting for you to recognize it. And when you do, you will find that you are not just surviving, you are being carried towards something greater. Every breakthrough has a process. It is not something that usually happens all at once. It comes in phases, like steps on a ladder, each one taking you closer to the place you have been hoping for. The journey itself shapes you, and each phase has its own beauty and purpose. The first phase is recognition. This is when you become aware that something in your life is about to shift. It could be a quiet feeling deep inside, a sense that the season is changing. You may not see all the details yet, but you feel a pull towards something new. Think back. Have you ever had a moment where you knew, without any logical explanation, that change was coming? That awareness is the seed of your breakthrough. Next comes preparation. This is the stage where you start getting ready, often without even realizing it. Maybe you start learning new skills, meeting people who will be part of your journey, or letting go of old habits that no longer serve you. Sometimes preparation feels slow, but it is necessary. Just like a seed has to take root underground before it can grow, you have to build a foundation before your breakthrough can bloom. Then there is pressure. This phase can be intense, but it is not meant to break you. It is meant to refine you. Think of it like a diamond forming under heat and pressure. This is when challenges come, not to stop you, but to shape your resilience and sharpen your focus. Have you ever noticed how some of your greatest growth came during your most stretching seasons? That is the pressure phase working for your good. After that comes alignment. This is where the right pieces start falling into place. The timing, the people, and the opportunities begin to connect in ways you could not have arranged on your own. It feels like the puzzle pieces you have been holding for so long suddenly make sense. This stage is exciting because you begin to see how your past efforts and patience are paying off. Finally, there is release the moment your breakthrough becomes visible. This is when what you have been preparing for, enduring for, and believing for finally takes shape. It might be a dream fulfilled, a goal achieved, or a new chapter opening. And the best part? It rarely feels like the end. More often, it feels like the start of something even bigger. If you pay attention, you will see that these phases often repeat in different areas of life. Breakthrough is not just a single event. It is a rhythm. And every time you go through it, you become more confident in the process. So, where are you right now? Are you sensing the first signs of change? Are you in the middle of preparation or feeling the pressure? Wherever you are, remember this: every phase has purpose, and every step is moving you forward. Your breakthrough is not just coming. In many ways, it has already begun. Chosen one, hear this. Your unimaginable blessings are near. Divine favor is waiting to pour out over you. But there is a condition. Obey the call to rest. This is your time to be still and know that He is God. Do not disobey. Your time to shine has come.